How's it, guys? We finally have a break from the hot weather of the last couple of days. Today is overcast and we're expecting some rain, and it is the perfect time to transplant baby broccolis. If you grow plants from seed and then need to transplant them out, then cloudy weather is always the best time. If you do it in hot sunny weather, or even just when the sun is shining, they get quite a bit more transplant shock. Suddenly being moved from their comfortable environment into a whole different place, different soil, different ecosystem, different weather, all of that, and it can stress them out quite a bit. And doing it on a cloudy day, especially when you're expecting some rain, really helps ease them into ground life. If you're not expecting rain, then just water them in really nicely, and then they should settle in quite well. So these guys have been growing here for about 3 weeks now, I think. They're all just sprinkled in here, crowded in all together. So we're gonna separate them and then put them in the ground. Let's take that leaf off. We are expecting some rain this afternoon, but I might water them in anyway, just to make sure that they are good and settled. Chanel is somewhere in the background carving some spoons. It's a beautiful day to be outside and be doing some things. The ground that we're planting in here, it's actually a little bit dry, but as soon as you dig down, it's got some moisture to it. It's beautiful soil, and a lot of leaf mulch and just dead ferns. There were some invasive cannas that were here that have been pulled out, and so it's a beautiful cleared space to grow some food, because that's what we're all about. So what I'm gonna do, let's see if I can, I don't want to tear the bag open because I want to reuse it. I'm gonna see if I can pull this down a bit. Ha! There you go. That's what it was. There you go. So that we can expose the broccolis. Instead of turning it upside down like I normally would and risk crushing all these tiny plants, I'm just going to try and turn this bag inside out, which is working quite well, actually. And we'll just see if we can kind of break these guys out. Hey, there you go. There's our first little guy. Put him here so you can see him. These are what Waltham broccoli, just a green broccoli. Might even be a green sprouting broccoli, I'm not sure. These seeds were just left over from a friend, and she gave them to us so that they could grow instead of just being in storage, because seeds always want to grow. So we're just gonna spread them out. There's quite a few here. So I think I'm going to start over here, quite close to the camera, and we're just going to hope that Kajari doesn't crush them too much. She is not yet 100% trained to understanding garden boundaries, but we are working on it. There you go, friend. Look at you in the ground. Yay! There he is in the ground. So gorgeous. Ferns are so annoying. So with broccolis, brassicas in general, you want to plant them at least sort of 30 centimeters apart. You want to make sure they're going to have enough space, because even though these seedlings are really tiny, they're going to get big, and they're going to get big fast. And it's hard to imagine when they're this small that they can get so big, and so it's very easy to plant them way too close together. I do that often just because my brain can't imagine that they're going to be so big one day. But it is going to happen, and when that day comes, you don't want them crowded together, because then you're not going to get the harvest that you were expecting. So it's best to think ahead. And here's two guys growing right next to each other. And I see this one doesn't look quite as strong. Oh, okay, well they've just separated themselves. But what's going on here, buddy? You look like you have... You're just growing sideways. Okay. Alright, I was gonna do a whole thing, but never mind. There you go, you're gonna go there. Some of them are a little bit on the leggy side, but that's just because they were all grown in a pot together, and so they've been fighting for light. But I'm planting them just a little bit deeper to give their stems some strength, and they're going to sort themselves out in no time. That's a beautiful one. Wow, look at you. Take the bottom leaves off if you need to, so that you can bury them nicely and then push the soil down to give them some strength. This is going to be such a cool broccoli patch. Find my next ones. I think what I'm going to do once these are all planted is I'm going to come and top dress the whole area, sort of mulch the area with some, we have some dry horse manure still. And I've been top dressing some of our beds with that, and I think that's exactly what these guys need. Sure, these roots went so deep. I'm really impressed. You can actually go here. Ah, got another one. It sounded like a rock that I hit. Now we do have some brassicas planted actually right in front of me over here. I'll show you. And I planted them from seed. Let's lift the camera a little bit. I planted them from seed directly in the ground on exactly the same day that we planted these in the pot. And these ones have done hugely better. Yeah, great English. These ones have done way better, and I think it's just because this soil is more enriched compost. I can't remember where we even dug the soil out from. Whereas that, they just went straight in the ground, and it was quite a dry patch. So they had quite a slow start, and they're a little bit stunted. But I top dressed them for the second time yesterday with that dry horse manure, so that it could get rained in. But the first, since the first dressing, they've already sort of doubled in size. And I think they'll catch up to these guys. Well, these guys will slow down now with a little bit of transplant shock, and then I think they'll even out. Those ones are a mix of broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. Hoping to get a late spring harvest out of these, since we weren't able to do any winter planting or harvesting since we were moving around and building a house and all of that. Hopefully we could still get a spring harvest of brassicas before the hot weather really sets in. Now, these guys are all super close together, so we're just going to have to try and separate them as best we can. That is a weed. You, my friend, do not belong. Am I getting sprinkled on? Okay, so I would like to do beans here, I've just decided. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll do the 13th one here, and the 14th one here. And then the rest we will just leave or try and put somewhere else. Yeah. We'll just use it. Need all these guys. There you go. That's actually very nice. Beautiful. beautiful horse manure here. Very, very well aged horse manure. So horse manure is quite hot, meaning you can't just put it directly on your plants. It needs to be broken down for quite a long period of time, otherwise it'll burn your plants. But this is, okay, it's wet right now, but it's very dry and crumbly. It's mixed with some grass clippings or some horse bedding. And we have used it on some of our plants already, and it's perfect. So I'm going to sprinkle it around these broccoli seedlings, give them a nice start to life. It also helps me to see where the plants actually are because they stick out nicely. The green of the plant sticks out quite nicely. That looks beautiful. It's quite exciting. Okay, there's the broccoli bed with the horse manure, and next to it there's that empty space. We're gonna put some bush beans, our favorite bush beans. So we're gonna plant our absolute favorite variety of bush beans. These are called dark red kidney beans. They are a dry bean variety. So that means that you don't harvest the green bean pods and eat them fresh. You actually allow all the pods to dry on the plant, and then harvest them and shell the beans, and you cook the beans like this. We grew these last year, and they blew us away. They were maintenance free. We hardly watered them. In fact, I think I watered them really just through the early seedling stage, and then for the rest of the summer they just did their own thing. And we got a great harvest out of a very small patch. So we're planning to grow tons of these this year, and really be able to store quite a few beans for eating purposes. At the moment these are available on our seed shop, channelamika.com, and they are 10 Rand. Our 10 Rand seed sale is still going. So there are these dark red kidney beans, strawberry popcorn, a whole bunch of beautiful tomato varieties, and quite a few other veggies. Okay, so we're going to get to planting. We're just going to shove these in the ground, nice and easy. What are you? Don't want you there, thanks. When you're planting seeds directly in the ground, you want to, well actually anywhere, whenever you're planting seeds, you want to plant them twice as deep as they are wide. Now I need to not lose track of where I'm planting, otherwise I'm going to go way too close together, and we're not going to get a great bean harvest. The cool thing about beans is that they really are not super picky about the soil that they grow in. They can grow in very, very poor soil and still give you a great harvest. Kajari, this is my garden, so you're going to stand right there and you're not going to come any closer, okay? Beans also germinate fairly quickly. So they're a great tester crop to see if there is something seriously wrong with your soil. If you were to plant beans first before anything else, and if they came up and the leaves were all wrinkly and looked terrible, or they were yellow or something like that, then you'd know that there was a serious problem with your soil. And you could get it tested, look into it, feed it, before planting something really valuable. I'm really not measuring how far apart these are going, probably about 15 centimeters. So this will definitely not be the only crop of beans we plant this season. This is just the first. we will probably, as soon as we have another space ready, we'll put more of these in. We saved lots of these last season. We ate very few so that we'd have tons to save and to put in our seed shop, so that we could share them with you guys, so that you could also enjoy the beautiful beans, which many of you have. There's actually not very many packets left available in the shop. There we go. Let me get out of the way. Just like that, they are planted. Easy peasy. We're also going to plant some of these beans here in front of our water chestnut garden. You're having a giggle at me. Just because it's an empty space and nobody likes bare soil, so we're just going to pop it in here. And they should do quite nicely. The soil is compacted quite a bit already. So this garden is going to look really cool in about a month or so. The water chestnuts haven't sprouted yet, but they should soon. The wild garlic is looking really good. It's settled in. And then all around the other things that we've planted, the pineapple sage will come up at some point. The echinacea looks great. The yarrow. The tiny catnip. None of them seem to suffer any transplant shock, which is amazing. That is lamb's ear and the stunning variegated thyme. It's so beautiful. It's my favorite. And then all of the little onion and leek seedlings that are in here as well are looking really good. We had to surround this garden with pots because Kajari kept running through it. She doesn't understand boundaries. We're working on it. There's a beautiful yellowwood. Look how nicely it's growing. And this we're very excited about. This is our young berry plant that we have been nurturing for so long, and it's coming back nice and strong. It's actually going to bloom. Have a look there. That is out of focus, I apologize. Garden manicure for the win. Look at those flower blossoms coming on. And what else do we have to show here? Our gorgeous mulberry tree has got mulberries on it. Focus on the mulberries. But we have a ton. Last year we got a tiny handful. The plan is to plant this tree out very soon, but I want to wait for the mulberries to ripen. But we grew this from a tiny cutting. I'm quite impressed. Let's see, what else can we show you guys? The seedlings have not germinated yet in the 2 days since we've planted them, much to my horror. We've got the pepino melon plant here, some young walking onions, many young potato onions. The pepper plants are all starting to come back, which is really cool. This is a purple flame. You can see tons of tiny leaves and blossoms on their way. This is a tree spinach, also starting to come back. That is one very small leaf. Our cucamelon vine is starting to spread out some spring growth. Very excited for cucamelons this season. Even our tiny candy cane pepper, shame. That one got hit by the frost and we thought we might have lost him, but look at that. Beautiful variegated growth coming back. I'm very excited to see some actual peppers this season. This is a very big walking onion. Hopefully it'll flower and give us more walking onions. And there's some more peppers that are coming back, waking up from dormancy. Waking up. Awakening. The ashwagandha has produced tons of berries. We actually need to harvest these and get the seed out. Let's see what else we've got that's interesting. The world's tiniest curry leaf tree. This is also a cutting. But man, it has stayed small for so long. It's starting to grow though. I see new leaves there. young Kai apple tree, our perennial basil that needs to go in the ground. I did put one in the ground this morning. And here is a cranberry hibiscus cutting, which is doing very well. And this is a young berry that grew from seed next to the parent plant last season. So that's very cool. Ooh, this. I'm so excited about this. This is a variety of mint called chocolate mint. I wish you guys could smell it because it really smells like chocolate mint, like a Cadbury's peppermint crisp. It is delicious. The nutapenos are starting to ripen, so we'll save some fresh seed because we are actually almost out of seed. But we have planted tons more, which is great. Here's a beautiful violet sparkle pepper. Yay! Pretty peppers, I'm very excited. These all need to go in the ground. That is an apricot tree. It's coming back. This we're hoping to plant today still. Thank you, Tanya, for this amazing crown of yacon.
It's delicious.
It is delicious, and we cannot wait to separate this and plant these out. So you plant these guys out and then you will get these awesome tubers. My phone will not focus. It's so frustrating. So this one, you can see they're starting to bud. They grow very much like, I want to say sweet potatoes, but they don't vine though. But like ginger, turmeric, so they've got these crowns. And then there's this massive, this is the parent plant. So all of these knobs we can separate. Here's one that's got leaves on it. I need another finger so that I can get my camera to focus. There it is, yay. So you can see there's some green growth coming out here. This guy's ready to plant. So all of these we can separate and plant out. So we're gonna do that today. Thank you so much, Tanya. We are so appreciative. And what else is growing? Some perennial kale, one of our plants. We've got quite a few. And a young pecanut tree from Estelle that is waking up also. You beautiful thing. And we have, oh, these are bay leaf trees. Yay for flavor. These are also grown from cuttings. And this is their first new leaves since we started growing them. Very exciting. This sugarcane definitely needs to get transplanted. This poor thing has been growing in here for a long time. And then these are our worm farms. Our worm buckets, really. Got some avo trees sprouting out of them. Very cool. This is a cherry tomato that sort of grew through the winter. Hasn't produced anything. It might now that we're back in spring, but it just sprouted up and we kind of left it. I think that is all we've got to show. Our beautiful container garden that soon will be no more because it will all be in the ground. Thank you guys for joining me on this little planting adventure. There's Chanel carving a tiny spoon. The carving bug has bitten.
Yeah, it's just when I record they're not good, and when I don't record then
they're perfect.
Great.
Well, let's get a tiny record so that we have it on record.
It's the first tiny spoon I've ever
It's
made.
very cute.
Yeah, just busy shaping the back now, but I'm quite happy with this. Oh. It's for our spices, so we can put.
Yes.
So we can.
Awesome.
Yeah, stop using our fingers.
Very cool. Back to what I was saying, which was bye. We'll see you guys on the next video. Enjoy. What day is it today? I think it's Thursday. Enjoy your Thursday afternoon.